Hello and welcome to me and my lovely home and this week's vlog, which is going to be depression in a nutshell. Okay, first off, I want to explain that I'm not very well with my mental health at the moment. So if I phase off or don't seem to be making any sense, or I stop the video and then I come back again and I'm in a different outfit because I've done it on a different day, then please excuse me. But this right here, this face and this tone of voice is what 21 years of mental health experience does to you. You've become a great actor. Anyway, I'm like the poster girl for Depression Wears Lipstick campaign, aren't I, right now? Anyway, so these vlogs are going to be in a nutshell, so mental health in a nutshell, different things, so depression, anxiety, or whatever. They're all going to be things that I've had experiences of, because I don't feel like it's my place to come on here and talk about bipolar OCD when I have not had experience of those illnesses. The idea these are going to be much more factual. I've done a lot of reading and research into these illnesses, so what they say on sort of the NHS website and Mind website and Samaritans, my own experiences, chats with counsellors and doctors, sorry I just phased out, doctors, and also obviously, I don't know what I was saying, God's sake, my concentration is so ridiculous. I think I was saying about how I've done a lot of research, and I'm going to link all the research that I've done and the websites and things that I've used in the description box below. I hope that makes sense. So this first in a nutshell vlog is going to be on depression, and I think it's one of the mental illnesses that people struggle with understanding the most, that I found. Like the reactions I get of people when I say I have depression is very different to what I say what I get when I talk about anxiety or anything else. So depression affects 1 in 10 people in their lifetime. So that's a lot of people. You are likely to at least know somebody who has had problems with depression. And I think the causes of depression are something that people also don't understand. Like they assume something major's happened, or it's like wallowing in grief and things like this. So I want to explain properly what depression actually is. Depression is really a blanket term. There are lots of different types of depression within that. I'm not going to name them all, but probably 2 of the most commonly known types of depression is bipolar, but there's more than one type of bipolar within the bipolar umbrella. Postnatal depression, that's got a lot of media coverage over the last couple of years, but there's also persistent depression, major depression, there's quite a few. There are lots of different reasons why you can get depression. It could be a bereavement, for instance, having a baby can cause it, losing a job, or it could be for no apparent reason whatsoever. One thing I want to make sure I cover right now is that not everybody with depression self-harms, and not everybody with depression feels suicidal. I feel like that's really important, because a lot of media coverage seems to sway in the direction that if you have depression or any form of mental health problem that you must automatically feel suicidal, and that is just not true. Depression can feel like one or two things, or a combination of the two. And one of them is an intense sadness, so a real grief, raw grief, I guess. And the second is a numbness, so you literally don't have any emotions at all. You may just randomly cry sometimes, but you don't sort of feel happy at things that would normally make you happy, or excited about things. You don't feel any of those emotions. You don't even feel sadness or anything. You feel literally nothing. It's just a numbness. There are lots of different symptoms of depression, so I'm only going to say a few of them here, but if you want to have a look at what the others are, then please click on the link in the description box I'm going to put down there to the NHS or Mind. They both have lots of different symptoms of depression on there, and you can find them on there. But a persistent low mood is obviously a key indicator of depression, and I don't mean obviously everyone has bad days and everyone has good days, but it is persistent as in it doesn't shift for sort of a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. A feeling of helplessness or hopelessness, feeling tearful. You could just be crying all the time and you're not really sure why, not at things you wouldn't normally cry at, or just sitting on the sofa and just tears coming down and you're not really sure why. Guilt is also a common symptom of depression and a lot of different mental health problems. And low self-esteem, again, that you think everything is your fault. And yeah, I won't go down that route right now. If you feel you have depression or you think that someone close to you does, it's really, really, really important to go to the doctors, and don't leave it, because I'm a little bit of a bugger for leaving it, and then it gets worse, and then it's harder to come back from. It affects more of your life if you do that. I would strongly recommend to go to the doctors, and doctors are much more open about mental health now than they ever used to be. So please go, and they do get you to fill in a form. I say a form, that sounds like it's like you're going to be there writing like your mother's maiden name and God knows what else. No, it's not one of those kind of forms. It basically is more of a questionnaire, I guess. And it asks you questions about how you felt in the last 2 weeks, about how often you felt like this in the last 2 weeks, and you just basically tick a box and just a few questions. And then they sort of look at it and say, you are not very depressed, but quite anxious, or you're very depressed and in the middle somewhere, and all that kind of thing. Treatment will depend on the severity of your depression or whatever mental health problem you've got. So a doctor might be like, here's a couple of weeks off work. For some reason they always give you 2 weeks off when it's mental health, and then you go back and then they say if you need another 2 weeks. I don't know why that is, but anyway, they might say here's 2 weeks off work and you'll feel better, like it's time to recharge yourself. They might encourage you to do more exercise, to cut out things like caffeine, alcohol and smoking. They all make your mental health problems worse, which is one of the many reasons why I don't drink and smoke. There's a lot of reasons why I don't drink and smoke, but that is one of the reasons. Other than lifestyle changes, there is also talking therapies. CBT is probably the most common talking therapy that they refer you to now. It's really good for anxiety and stress. I don't find it as useful for depression, but obviously everyone's different. Although when I went to the doctor on Monday, he did agree with me that it is better with anxiety and stress. But anyway, and also of course medication, which I know is a little bit controversial. Some people swear by the medication and some people are really quite funny. There's a lot of stigma around medication, and I'll be doing another vlog on that at some point. And of course a combination of all three, depending. If you smoke a lot and drink a lot, they might be like, you need to cut that down, and we're going to give you some medication to help you cope better with the reasons why you might be drinking or smoking, because a lot of people with depression use those as sort of a crutch to sort of get through days and stuff, and also counselling. There's a lot of different things. It's going to depend on the person, but depression isn't something that just goes away if after a month or so of taking medication or going to a couple of sessions with a therapist. You have to keep going with it. With medication, you should always take it if that's what you're given. Not, I mean, forever and ever, but as long as you and the doctor feel needed. If you feel like you want to try and come off them, that's great, but go to a doctor and get them to help you come off them gradually. Don't just cut them out, because you'll end up feeling so much worse than you would normally. It is so important that you treat medication with respect. It won't work if you keep missing days or not taking it, and you'll feel so much worse for doing that as well, so please don't. Lifestyle is really important. Maybe you need to make changes in that. For instance, if you're smoking or drinking too much because you use it as a crutch, maybe because you feel bad, try and cut that down, even if you can't cut it out completely, because it will make a massive difference to your mental health. Exercise is also important, but I'm going to level with you here. I go jogging quite regularly, as you may or may not know, and I have not been jogging because I can't imagine forcing myself around there, because I feel like there's weights attached to me. So I understand that this isn't actually as easy as what the doctors seem to think it is when they diagnose you with depression and tell you to do this. And also going outside isn't actually for everyone either. Like, that is a problem for me at the moment. So even walking Molly to the field is not really something that I can actually do at present, but it is something I'm working on. But you might find that other things like yoga and things like that might help. So, you know, do what you feel like you are able to do. Don't force yourself or feel bad if you can't do it. But these are just things that can help your mental health. I hope you found this vlog useful, but I have one more point to make and one more favour to ask of all of you, whether you've got a mental health problem, whether you haven't, whether you know someone who has. This is what I want you to do if you are in this situation or you see the situation happen. If you see somebody in floods of tears in public, whether that's in the doctor's surgery, whether that's just randomly sitting on a bench in the street, in the lounge at work, on a train platform, on a bridge, wherever that is, just go up and ask them if they are okay. You don't need to have medical training. They are 9 times out of 10 going to say, yes, I'm fine. But in that moment, you have shown them that you care. A perfect stranger has gone up to you and cared enough to ask if you are okay. That literally could save somebody's life. Because the other day, on Monday, when I had to go to the doctors because my doctor's doesn't answer the phone, so I had to actually leave the house with a mental health problem to go all the way to the doctors. I had to then sit in the surgery for 5-10 minutes until the afternoon ones actually opened. Where I was in floods of tears in a busy surgery, nobody asked if I was okay. Do I look scary? Do I look like a drug addict? No, I do not. So then I went up to reception. I was crying with reception. She did ask if I was okay and gave me a tissue. Thank you very much. Then I walked home in floods of tears along a main road. I walked past several people, some of which looked at me and could clearly see I was upset. Not one person asked if I was okay. And I'd love to say this is the first time this has happened to me and therefore a surprise, but it's not. Because I have had so many times where I have been sitting in the middle of Nottingham city centre or wherever in absolute sobs and not one person has asked if I was okay. How I have not ended up on the bridge, I want to. If that point is the only point you take away from this vlog, or the only reason you share this vlog, then I'm okay with that, because it is just such an easy and simple thing to say. You don't need medical training, you just need common decency and humanity to ask someone who is obviously in distress, are they okay? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're going to explode in front of you? Just saying that could save someone's life. Anyway, rant over. Please, if you enjoyed this vlog or you feel like me, it's important that people hear about mental health and that it's important to end the stigma, then please, 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 I always say please, please, please at the end of my vlogs, don't I? I need to think of something else. I don't know why I say that. Could you please like this video, subscribe and share? Thank you. I'll be forever grateful. And now I'm going to lie down and recover.